When a quiet Cancerian meets a fiery Aries, will the stars align when fire meets water? When a quiet Cancerian meets a fiery Aries, Chapter 1 of a 6-part story, Chapter 1, When Fire Met Water, a love story unfolds. Jasper, a meticulous art curator, moved through the crowded gallery like a moonlit wave gently caressing the shoreline. His calm Cancerian energy was a stark contrast to the energetic chatter that filled the room, bristling with anticipation. Today, the gallery was revealing the most controversial art exhibit of the year, and everyone who was anyone in the London art scene was there. Across the room, amid the sea of cocktail dresses and tailored suits, a whirlwind of fiery energy caught his eye. Isolde. She was impossible to ignore. With flaming red hair that matched her vibrant Aries personality, she was a tempest in the calm sea of Jasper's world. An acclaimed performance artist, known for her controversial and provocative work, her bold presence felt like a burst of warm sunlight seeping into his cool, moonlit existence. Their first encounter was pure chance. Jasper, a glass of champagne in hand, accidentally bumped into Isolde, causing a slight spill. Her eyes, as green as emeralds, met his, twinkling with amusement rather than annoyance. His heart skipped a beat, a strange sensation for someone who prided himself on his emotional control. "I'm sorry," Jasper stammered, blushing a deep crimson that matched the spilled champagne on Isolde's black dress. Her laugh was like a melody, soft yet captivating, echoing through the gallery's marble walls. "It's quite all right," she said, her voice smooth as velvet. "I've survived worse spills on stage." She glanced at his name tag, her eyes lighting up in recognition. "You're the curator, aren't you? Jasper?" Caught off guard by her recognition, he nodded, managing a weak smile. They spent the rest of the evening engaged in a conversation that was as intoxicating as the finest wine. Isolde's raw, unfiltered thoughts on art, contrasted with Jasper's more traditional views, was a riveting dance of words. She challenged him, intrigued him, and ignited a spark that sent warmth coursing through his veins. As they conversed, Jasper couldn't help but notice the intensity of Isolde's gaze, her passion that lit up her eyes, the gentle curve of her lips as she spoke, her laughter like a seductive song pulling him in. Her nearness was intoxicating, her scent a mix of wildflowers and paint, a heady aroma that left him wanting more. He found himself drawn to her vivacity, her unbridled spirit, her fierce independence, all the traits he found so alien and yet so enthralling. The evening ended with a soft kiss on her hand and an exchange of numbers, both promising to meet again under pretense of discussing art, but both fully aware of the magnetic attraction that had drawn them together. Jasper returned home that night with his heart pounding in his chest and his mind filled with thoughts of Isolde. As he lay in bed, he couldn't help but replay their conversation, her laugh, the feel of her soft hand in his. He was entering uncharted territory, a world of raw emotions and unpredictability, a far cry from his calm, ordered life. Yet, despite the turmoil of emotions within him, Jasper couldn't deny the fact that he was inexplicably drawn towards the fiery Isolde. His logical mind tried to rationalize this newfound attraction, but his heart, for the first time, was leading the way, guiding him towards a love that promised to be as enthralling as it was terrifying. As he drifted off to sleep, one thought echoed in his mind. When fire met water that night, a unique love story began to unfold, one that would prove to the world that love knows no bounds, not even the contrasting traits of a quiet Cancerian and a fiery Aries. This is chapter 1 of a 6-chapter short story. The next chapter is chapter 2, In Pursuit of Passion, Love Turns Hot. When a quiet Cancerian meets a fiery Aries, will the stars align when fire meets water? When a quiet Cancerian meets a fiery Aries. Chapter 2 of a 6-part story. Chapter 2, In Pursuit of Passion, Love Turns Hot. The morning sun broke through the gaps in Jasper's curtains, casting long shadows across his apartment. His heart was still abuzz from last night's encounter with Isolde. The intoxicating blend of her bold laugh and the vibrant fire in her eyes were ingrained in his memory. His typically calm Cancerian demeanour was set off kilter, a symptom of the passionate fever the fiery Aries woman ignited within him. Today marked the second meeting between Jasper and Isolde, ostensibly to discuss a potential collaboration between the curator and the artist. It was a professional gathering, at least on the surface. The cafe they chose for their rendezvous was a quaint little place tucked away from the bustling streets of London, an oasis of calm in the heart of the city. As Jasper waited for Isolde, his heart pounded with anticipation. The calm, cool Cancerian in him was at odds with these unfamiliar waves of anxiety and excitement. His logical side questioned these feelings, while his emotional side relished them. Upon her arrival, Isolde was like a whirlwind of energy that instantly brightened the room. Her hair was a wild tempest of curls, and her emerald eyes sparkled with the excitement of a new day. Their conversation began with talk of art, but quickly meandered into more personal topics. Despite the professional pretext of their meeting, a silent undercurrent of attraction permeated their conversation. As they spoke, Jasper found himself drawn to Isolde's passion for her craft. Her vibrant persona was infectious, and he felt himself pulled into her world. When their hands brushed under the table, he felt a jolt of electricity that caused his heart to flutter, a sensation he hadn't experienced in a long time. They spent the rest of the afternoon engaged in light-hearted banter and intense debates, the electric undercurrent of their attraction adding an extra layer of complexity to their conversation. The sun began to set, casting a warm orange glow on their faces as they walked out of the cafe. On his journey home, Jasper found himself replaying their conversation in his head. Isolde's fiery spirit ignited a flame within him, disrupting his calm and orderly world. The more he thought about her, the more he wanted to see her again. It was a strange, intoxicating sensation that sent his heart racing and left him yearning for more. Back at home, the usually calm and collected Jasper found himself at a crossroads. His heart was in turmoil, his thoughts a whirlwind of emotions he didn't fully understand. He was falling fast and hard for Isolde, and the idea both terrified and thrilled him. The quiet, sensible part of him urged him to slow down, to take time to understand these feelings. But the newfound emotional side of him, the side awakened by Isolde, wanted to dive headfirst into this exciting world of passion and desire. As he sat alone in his apartment, the moonlight streaming through the window, Jasper realized that he was on a thrilling roller coaster ride of emotions. He was, in essence, pursuing a passion that was as terrifying as it was exciting. His logical mind urged caution, but his heart, under the spell of the fiery Aries woman, was ready to take the plunge. As he drifted off to sleep, one thing was clear. He was falling for Isolde. It was a frightening thought, but also an exciting one. His orderly life was giving way to a roller coaster ride of emotions, and for the first time in his life, he was ready to embrace the chaos. This is chapter 2 of a 6-part short story. The next chapter is chapter 3, Emotional Storm, Aries versus Cancer. When a quiet Cancerian meets a fiery Aries, will the stars align when fire meets water? When a quiet Cancerian meets a fiery Aries, chapter 3 of a 6-part story. Chapter 3, Emotional Storm, Aries versus Cancer. A surge of anticipation trembled through Jasper's veins, rousing the usually collected Cancerian from his routine reverie. Today marked the 3rd meeting with the fiery Aries Isolde, a date shadowed with an undercurrent of powerful emotions. Inside Jasper's flat, London's dusky evening hues played hide-and-seek through the cracks of the curtains. His heart was in turmoil. The once serene lake of his emotional world was now filled with unexpected waves, triggered by a woman whose charisma was as captivating as a whirlwind. He found the way she swirled with passion, energy, and an unparalleled zest for life irresistibly attractive. Isolde was the tempest he never knew he needed, her fiery spirit a perfect contrast to his tranquil persona. The chemistry between them was an electrifying dance between fire and water, an enthralling melody of calmness entwined with chaos that had woven an odd harmony. Their evening unfolded in an art exhibition, a melting pot of culture and creativity in London's heart. Amidst a sea of spectators, his eyes sought only one person, finding Isolde dressed in a stunning burgundy dress that accentuated her vibrant red hair. Jasper felt a surge of adrenaline. As the event stretched into the night, their conversation strayed from professional banter to more intimate dialogues. They shared their life stories, their dreams and aspirations, and everything in between. Amid the soft lighting and murmurs of art critiques, a tacit understanding had dawned upon them. Their relationship was teetering at the edge of a new realm, beyond friendship or professional alliance. The tension heightened when their hands subtly brushed against each other in front of a contemporary painting, sending an electrifying jolt through their bodies. It was a silent acknowledgement of their simmering attraction, stirring a cocktail of complex emotions within Jasper's heart. As they ambled down London's quaint, moonlit streets, the connection between them intensified. Isolde's passion and spontaneity, coupled with Jasper's quiet and cautious demeanour, was a potent brew of contrasts. Yet, these differences didn't repel them. Instead, they acted as a magnetic force, drawing them closer. The goodbye at the end of the evening felt strained. Their bodies stood inches apart, their breaths intermingling, the tension coiling around them like an invisible cord. Every fibre of his being longed to close the distance between them, but as a conservative Cancerian, he hesitated, a conflict raging inside him. In the quiet solitude of his apartment, he replayed the night in his mind, every moment spent with Isolde stoking the fire within him. The emotional storm brewing within him was disorienting, yet exhilarating. Her allure had disrupted his life's calm rhythm, casting him into an ocean of unknown feelings. But instead of feeling fear, he was intrigued. He lay awake, pondering over his complex emotions, contemplating his next steps. The storm was upon him, ready to uproot his tranquil existence. Yet the prospect of this emotional tempest didn't scare him. Instead, he found himself preparing to dance in the downpour, prepared to face the turmoil that an Aries-Cancer union promised. His orderly life was a ship, sailing towards the heart of a storm, and he was ready to navigate through the high tides of passion and love. In the silent whispers of the night, one thing became clear to Jasper. This emotional roller coaster was not something he wanted to escape from. He was falling deep and fast into a storm of feelings, pulled in by the allure of a fiery Aries. This chapter of his life was filled with uncertainty, chaos, and an emotional tempest, but it was a storm he was willing to weather, for at its eye awaited a love story as beautiful as it was complex. This is chapter 3 of a 6-part short story. The next chapter is chapter 4, Into the Fire, Aries and Cancer, Drawn Closer. When a quiet Cancerian meets a fiery Aries, will the stars align when fire meets water? When a quiet Cancerian meets a fiery Aries, chapter 4 of a 6-part story. Chapter 4, Into the Fire, Aries and Cancer Drawn Closer. Isolde's name echoed through Jasper's mind as he awoke to London's grey morning. She had become the centre of his thoughts, the focal point of his emotions. Isolde was not just another woman, she was a whirlwind, an Aries woman, a force of nature that had swept through his calm world, leaving him enchanted. Days passed in a haze, their encounters marked by tension so tangible that it felt like an invisible thread connecting their hearts. Isolde, bold and lively, basked in this electrifying energy. Jasper, introverted and careful, found himself wrestling with feelings he never knew he was capable of experiencing. An impromptu dinner at Jasper's home was the next chapter in their unfolding story. As the Aries woman stepped into his abode, a mix of tranquility and chaos, the disparity between their worlds became more evident. Her fiery presence ignited his humble space, filling it with an energy that was both intense and invigorating. Cooking together was an experience that only deepened their connection. The heated discussions over ingredients, the playful fights over culinary techniques, the laughter that echoed through the walls, everything was a silent confession of their brewing feelings. Post-dinner, they sat down in Jasper's living room, a bottle of wine and 2 glasses adorning the coffee table. As the fire crackled in the hearth, the room filled with warmth, mimicking the heat between the 2 bodies seated across from each other. Their gazes locked, a silent conversation flowed between them. Their differences were vast, like 2 pieces from different puzzles, but their connection was undeniable. Isolde, ever the extrovert, was the first to break the silence. She confessed her feelings for Jasper with a candidness that took him by surprise. Jasper, shy and reserved, took a few moments to process this revelation, but when he did, he found his feelings mirroring hers. They kissed, their bodies entwined in a dance as old as time. It was a moment of surrender, a moment of acceptance that had them lost in each other. Isolde's passionate nature set the pace, her kisses like wildfire, consuming and relentless. Jasper, matching her fervour with his tenderness, created a perfect symphony of desire and love. The collision of their lips was not just a kiss, it was a confession, an acceptance, a promise. Jasper held Isolde close, their hearts beating in unison, their breaths mingling with the soft music playing in the background. The spark had been lit, a silent proclamation of their desire for each other. The room was thick with tension and unspoken words, and yet everything felt just right. As the night deepened, they held on to the moment, soaking in the warmth, their bodies curled up together. It was as if time had stopped, allowing them to relish the blissful union. The usually composed Cancerian was caught in the grip of a fiery passion he never thought he would experience. They had crossed a threshold, their relationship evolving from a simmering attraction to a passionate love affair. The differences between the fiery Aries and the gentle Cancerian seemed insignificant compared to their deep-seated affection. Drawn closer in the heat of passion, they looked forward to exploring the new dimensions of their relationship, ready to dive deeper into the flames of their love. This is chapter 4 of a 6-part short story. The next chapter is chapter 5, From Passion to Pain, A Twist in Love. When a quiet Cancerian meets a fiery Aries, will the stars align when fire meets water? When a quiet Cancerian meets a fiery Aries, Chapter 5 of a 6-part story. Chapter 5, From Passion to Pain, A Twist in Love. Post their intimate encounter, the usually vibrant London morning was unusually grey for Jasper. He replayed the events of the night before, their shared laughter, her bold confession, their kiss, and the passionate aftermath. His heart beat with a sense of fulfillment that he had never experienced before. However, with the dawning reality, he couldn't help but be apprehensive about the differences that set them apart. Isolde was an Aries, a wildfire, while he was a Cancerian, a gentle stream. Could their love survive the onslaught of these elemental differences? He had a sense of foreboding that he just couldn't shake off. Meanwhile, Isolde was caught in a similar whirlwind of thoughts. She had given herself to him without reservation, but the morning light brought about a sense of unease. The intensity of the previous night had left her feeling vulnerable, a sentiment that didn't sit well with her independent Aries nature. An unexpected phone call from Isolde in the afternoon confirmed Jasper's fears. She sounded distant and tense, so unlike the passionate woman from the previous night. She asked him to meet at their usual cafe, her voice betraying a sense of urgency. At the cafe, the tension was palpable. As Isolde walked in, her usual radiance was missing. Jasper felt a pang in his heart as he noticed the unease on her face. She sat down across him, taking a deep breath before she started speaking. Isolde confessed her insecurities about their relationship. She spoke of her fear of losing her individuality, her concern over their contrasting personalities, her apprehension about a future together. Her candidness was like a punch in the gut for Jasper. The taste of love had turned bittersweet. Jasper sat there absorbing her words. His mind was a whirlpool of thoughts. He had always known their differences were significant, but had hoped love would bridge that gap. He realized, however, that love alone wasn't enough. They had dived into the passion without considering the ramifications. His heart ached, but he couldn't ignore her feelings. He assured Isolde that he understood her concerns and agreed to give her the space she needed. It was the hardest thing he had ever done, but he knew it was necessary. As he walked her to the cab, he could feel a distance growing between them. The passionate love they had shared seemed to have evaporated, replaced with a sobering reality. The vibrant London evening seemed dull as he watched her cab disappear into the traffic. The passion had given way to pain, leaving a twist in their love story. The Aries and Cancerian found themselves at crossroads, their love being put to a test they weren't prepared for. Their roller coaster of emotions had taken a downturn, leaving them with questions about their future together. Their love story was far from over, though. They had stumbled, but it wasn't the end. They knew they had to confront their fears and insecurities if they hoped to navigate this unexpected twist in their love story. This is chapter 5 of a 6-part short story. The next chapter is chapter 6, the final chapter. The stars align, love's unexpected turn. When a quiet Cancerian meets a fiery Aries, will the stars align when fire meets water? When a quiet Cancerian meets a fiery Aries, chapter 6 of a 6-part story, the final chapter. Chapter 6, the stars align, love's unexpected turn. Days turned into weeks, painting the bustling city of London with hues of autumn. The red and golden leaves mirrored the fiery relationship between Jasper, a tender-hearted Cancerian man, and Isolde, a fiercely independent Aries woman. The once familiar streets felt alien, their lives devoid of each other's presence, their hearts longing for a connection they had willingly severed. Jasper found himself aimlessly wandering through Hyde Park, a place he used to frequent with Isolde. They would laugh, sharing tales, their banter filled with playful undertones that masked an undercurrent of budding affection. Now he missed the fiery spirit of his Aries lover. The void left by her was too vast, too deep for any distraction to fill. He would watch couples stroll hand in hand, their laughter echoing his loneliness. Yet he understood the importance of the space Isolde had sought, the need for them to explore their feelings independently. Across town, Isolde was undergoing a similar emotional upheaval. Known for her strong personality, her friends were surprised to see her lost in thought, her usual spark replaced with a certain quietness. Being away from Jasper had made her realize the depth of her feelings for him. She would lie awake at night, her dreams filled with the gentle caress of his touch, the warmth of his lips, and the soothing rhythm of his heartbeat against hers. She yearned for him, but the fear of commitment, of losing her independence, kept her from reaching out. One clear evening, when the London sky was a canvas painted with stars, Jasper found himself near the River Thames. The tranquil water was a stark contrast to the storm of emotions within him. He gazed at the twinkling stars, each one a silent companion sharing his solitude. The vastness of the cosmos mirrored the distance between him and Isolde, a chasm that seemed impossible to bridge. In a coincidental twist of fate, Isolde found herself drawn to the same spot. She recognized the silhouette bathed in moonlight. Seeing Jasper after weeks was like finding an oasis in a desert. Their eyes met, and in that fleeting moment, their emotions ran high, their yearning evident in their gaze. The silence was comfortable, their hearts conversing in hushed whispers. The words flowed freely when they finally spoke. They shared their fears, their dreams, and their longing for each other. Their conversation was a soothing balm on their aching hearts, their bond deepening with each shared emotion. That night, under the stars, Jasper and Isolde confessed their love, their hearts finally acknowledging the depths they were willing to reach for each other. Amidst the emotional torrent, their physical attraction remained a constant. Their eyes met, and the tension in the air was palpable. The next moment they were in each other's arms, their lips meeting in a passionate yet gentle kiss. By the time dawn painted the sky with hues of pink and orange, their relationship had taken an unexpected turn. They found strength in their love, an unspoken agreement that they would conquer their fears and face the challenges together. The streets of London had never seemed more inviting, the city once again resonating with their love. The stars had indeed aligned for Jasper and Isolde, and their love story was ready to unfold under the vast cosmos. This is the final chapter of a 6-part short story. Please subscribe to the Romance Diaries on YouTube to hear the other 5 chapters and other stories like this one.